the award-winning Beyond Vaudeville program with your host, Frank Hope, and your co-host, David Green, living legend, Arthur Tracy, sci-fi expert, Steve Maurer, Ice Beers, Rabbi Abraham, and Ken Jones, Trayman, conspiracy expert M. Vinson Hayes.
David, and welcome once again to the Beyond Vaudeville program. Lots of extra special guests today on the show. And just before we get started, just want to introduce some things that have been brought here recently. And our special co-host for the day, Mr. Steve Maurer, is with us. And Mr. Maurer, we met at the Creation Convention, right? And I thought Mr. Maurer had hair similar to Dave's, so I thought he might be a good, maybe we'll see if he can be a better co-host than David. We'll see.
Could be.
Okay, and now, Mr. Maurer, you are a specialist in folklore?
Well, my hobby is modern folklore, as I call it.
Okay,
Yeah.
and modern folklore being like Star Trek?
Yeah, characters, modern folk heroes, Sherlock Holmes being the first one in mass media, then going on with other characters such as the Star Trek characters or Superman, Batman.
Okay. All right. Well, well, that's very interesting, and we'll get back to that. But first, want to show some things that have been acquired lately in my collection. This is the Tribbles from Star Trek. Remember the Trouble with Tribbles episode? Very, very good. This is the Vanna White.
He sounds hungry.
Oh, okay.
I could be right.
This is the Vanna White doll from the Wheel show, right? You can only get that through the Home Shopping Club. And these are the Beverly Hills, you know, all those kids on that popular show. These are only two of them, the Brandon and Dylan. And I didn't buy the other ones yet. I thought maybe they'd be marked down eventually, so I'd wait for that. But these are the important ones, so I figured I better get them in case they go, right? And oh, and the last thing is the Home Alone Kevin, Screaming Kevin.
Okay, try and get me.
Okay, he talks when you pull the string. Okay, and just
I think it's time for him to go to bed now.
Okay, David, why don't you let us do the show? We have a lot of guests we have to get to. Also, just want to show Eddie Munster and Woof Woof. I got an autograph from Eddie Munster to Frank. Lots of luck. Look at that. And I found this photo of the Albert Finney, where he looks like David. I thought a little bit in this shot.
Don't show it to him.
See that? Oh, okay. And I want to also show the Star Trek limited edition plates you can get. It's just like the plates on the Enterprise. Now, anyway, well, we better get moving along. And we want to introduce as our first guest someone who's very, very special to us. And I heard his music. You all heard it from the movie Pennies from Heaven. A whole new generation learned about our next guest, the one and only street singer, Mr. Arthur Tracy. Mr. Tracy? Okay. Just watch the chord there. Okay. Okay. Just put your mic on there. Wow. Well, thank you for joining us, Mr. Tracy.
My pleasure.
And now, I brought one of your record covers here. This is going back a little ways, right? This
yes,
picture?
It is. I think it's the only one that I don't have of all the albums I made.
It's very very good record. And now, I hope you don't mind me saying your age, Mr. Tracy, but I think it's amazing. You look so good.
Well, let me tell them.
Oh, okay.
I've just celebrated my 93rd birthday.
Wow.
I'm 93 years young.
Wow.
Thank you.
And he can prove it too, because he has all the old records and the movies. You were in the big broadcast movie, right?
The first big broadcast of 1932, but that goes back to 1932. That's 60 years ago.
Wow.
When you say it fast, it doesn't sound so very long.
Now,
but now I'm ready to do a film with Meryl Streep.
oh,
I'm waiting on a call for that, and then I'm doing another film with Barbara Streisand.
wow. So you're staying very active in the business, right?
Very active. I don't believe in retirement. That's for the birds.
Well, that's right. That's a good attitude, and we're going to have some real healthy guys soon later in the show, and you'll see that they have the same attitude.
Right.
I think now it's something very special about you. You sang at Franklin Roosevelt's inauguration, right?
That's right. That was a command performance, so to speak, like they do in England. I was called by the old boy, FDR, and I performed at his inauguration.
Wow. And did you sing anything special to him, or like a?
He, if I remember correctly, he asked for Home.
Oh.
Home on the Range.
Okay.
Home on the, that was his favorite song. And incidentally, I also got 7 calls from the BBC in London recently, and I told them that I could not come over there currently because the picture is naturally a priority.
Right.
I'm waiting on those calls. So they said, well, if you can't come here, we'll come to New York, and they're coming next week.
Wow. And now and you're very popular in London, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and,
Well, I went there originally for 7 weeks and stayed six beautiful, solid, hard-working years.
great.
Welcomed by the then Prince of Wales, who became Edward VIII,
Okay.
and it was just all glory.
Well, and now, Mr. Tracy, you mentioned before that you did a movie with Meryl Streep. Was she
No,
nice?
I'm going to do that. That's in the works now.
Okay. And you know, I saw one movie, and I could have sworn I saw you in it, in Crossing Delancey in the movie. Was that really you?
That was really me.
Oh boy. Okay.
You know, I did that as a lark because usually I'm billed over the title of the film as the star of the film.
Right.
But I had just come off the road. I was on the road for 9 months with a show called Social Security,
Okay.
which is the funniest show that I've ever been in or seen.
Okay.
And I played the life of Marc Chagall, who died 2 years ago at 97.
Oh.
And I played the old man of 97.
Okay.
And people would come back after the show. They'd come back and say, Arthur, you know, my uncle or my father is 95 years old, and he behaved just the way you did, and he walked away. Well, of course, they couldn't get a better compliment than that.
Right. Right.
So as a result of that, the same casting director, little Fran Kuhlman, called me and she said, Arthur, darling, I have a film for you.
Okay.
So I came down to the office to be interviewed, and there was this big Amazonian, turned out to be Mrs. Silver, sitting with her. And I talked to them for about 5 minutes to give them an idea of the personality.
Right.
And then I said, would you let me have the script? And she gave me 1 page with 1.5 lines on it.
Oh. That was the whole script?
I said, no, dear, I want the script. She said, that's it.
Oh. Oh.
So I said, well, thank you very much, and I walked.
Oh.
But I heard Mr. Silver say, I've got to have this man in my film.
Okay.
So I came back and I said, if you've got to have this man in your film, write me a little cameo.
Okay.
4 or 5 minutes. Oh, we can't because the picture's already in motion and so on. So I walked, and for 3 weeks,
Right.
and I'm not exaggerating, for 3 weeks, every morning, Fran would call me and say, Arthur, darling, please do this for me, will you? Get her off my back.
Right.
And finally, I said, no, let her write me a cameo. Finally, after the 3 weeks, she said, I beg of you, please. And I thought quickly, I was curious to see what the reaction would be just with a walk-on.
Right.
Instead of starring in the film, I was curious. And do you know, Frank, I got more reaction, more telephone calls
Wow.
from people who saw me, and everybody who told me said, you know, we didn't expect you in it. We didn't know you were in it even. And everyone said, that's Arthur Tracy. That's Arthur.
Right. That's what I did.
As a result of that, I got the picture now with Meryl Streep.
Oh.
Believe it or not.
Okay. Now, Mr. Tracy's very anecdotal, obviously, and can tell a story about anything, I think. You just give him a topic and he can tell you a great story. Mr. Tracy, but we have some other guests, and we thought because you talk so well with people, maybe we could bring out our other guests too?
Sure.
Okay. These guests are special also. They're quite well known for an unusual hobby that they have. I think it's unusual. They probably don't. But they're called the Ice Bear Kingdom. And please, let's welcome Rabbi Abraham and Ken Jones. Hi, gentlemen. Have a seat there. David, maybe you can move over a little so they can.
Before I sit down here, I'd like to bring you a little present I brought.
Wow.
Get you
Look
on
at
the
this.
right track of eating right.
Wow. Now,
Brought
Miss.
you a little present here.
Oh boy, all these gifts.
Nice shirt,
Wow, look at this.
Ice Bear Kingdom shirt.
Oh, Mr. Jones, I don't know if I have the same physique that you have though to wear this.
When we get done with you, you'll be able to.
Okay, look at that.
You'll be able to eat
Okay.
just like us and look just like us.
Well, thank you very much. Now, you brought a lot of fruit. Now, Mr. Jones, you're actually a bodybuilder, I guess,
Yes,
right?
I am.
Yeah, and you eat a lot of fruit during the day, or?
I eat a lot of fruit throughout the day. Yes, I do.
Okay, and so can anybody look like you with that physique?
Well, there's no reason why not. I mean, if you eat good and take care of yourself, there's no reason why you train, go to the gym a little, or do a little aerobics, a little running. Sure, there's no reason why not. You couldn't look like me.
Wow, I'd like to build myself up like that so David couldn't pick on me after the shows all the time. I think.
Well, David has to take out a little of his frustration on the weights. That's what it is.
Oh, you see
It's
that?
all built up tension.
See that, David? Now, Rabbi Abraham, maybe you could tell us a little bit about the Ice Bear Kingdom. There are a couple of groups that go into the cold water in the winter, right? But you guys are the oldest, right? The oldest group?
Yes.
And now, how long have you been around?
Well, the Ice Bear Kingdom was established in 1843 in the town of Gravesend, which Coney Island is a part of.
Okay.
And it was established in the Coney Island House. That was the first hotel in Coney Island.
Right.
And from that time on, the club has been in existence. In fact, Daniel Webster and many other people were members of the Ice Bear Kingdom. And I found out that the reason why they call it Kingdom, because Coney Island used to be known as the Kingdom of the Sea.
Oh.
In the days of New Amsterdam, New York was called New Amsterdam before it was called New York.
Okay.
So Gravesend, the town of Gravesend, was formed in 1600 and some odd, I think 1643 or something similar to it. The exact year, I don't remember offhand.
Okay. And now, I guess we haven't even talked about what you guys. Is the camera? Oh, okay. We haven't even talked about what you guys really do. Now, when it gets real cold, you guys go in the water.
We go in the water.
in the ocean,
Sure,
right?
we've been in the water as cold as 15 below zero.
Wow.
And the reason why we do it is because it's part of our club. Eating right, going in the water, conditioning the skin, keeping the skin healthy. Look, in the water, the cold water, when the water's very cold, the oxygen level's very high.
Okay.
So it opens up the blood vessels in the body. It keeps the skin tight, the texture of the skin, prevents cellulite and loose skin.
So do you take cold showers too when you
Yes, I do.
every
Yes,
day? And
yes.
but isn't it? My hot water went out the other day, and I was freezing. It was. I
Well-
couldn't get my breath.
Well, in this humidity, I mean, a cold shower would be your best bet anyway, because it'll bring down your body temperature,
Oh.
cool you off a little bit. Which, if you took a hot bath, it'll only bring it up more, and that's something you don't want to do, especially if you're elderly person, you don't want, if you might have a bad heart or something, you don't want to have your blood pressure go up.
Right. Okay. And Mr. Maurer, have you ever gone in the ocean in the cold at all, or
No, not in the cold, no.
do you think you'd try it
I
sometime?
doubt it very much.
Oh, okay. And Mr. Tracy, in your experience, did you ever go in the ocean in the winter, or?
I go about knee deep. I can't swim, so I take no chances.
Oh, okay. Even in the warm weather.
Even in the warm weather.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I didn't realize we have another guest seated already. I didn't realize, Mr. Hayes, you had come in here, and you might as well join us since you're here. Now, do you go in the ocean at all in the winter, or would you try that sometime?
No, the most I do is cold showers. I love the ocean in East Hampton, where I have a home, where I once met Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, and now, you came here today to tell us about, it's going to be the 25th anniversary of Marilyn Monroe's death, is that
It's
right?
the 30th anniversary,
Oh,
this August 4th.
Okay.
And this show airs just about the time of her 30th anniversary of her strange, I call it really a murder.
Oh,
And in the April 7th National Enquirer, there was an article about how it was that the CIA murdered Marilyn Monroe. I've been saying this for 30 years now. I've been looking into her death for 30 years. And finally it's come out in a new book by the Giancanos called Double Cross.
okay.
And it seems that the CIA retained the services of the Mafia.
Okay.
And the Mafia appeared and gave a suppository to her, which killed her.
Right.
And what I really looked for but never found in any of this new material, there's a new book, new movie even, coming out called Crypt 33,
Okay. And,
which is by the head of the Nick Harris Detective Agency in Los Angeles, Milo Spariglia. But his friend, Robert F. Slatzer, who was one of the husbands of Marilyn Monroe, her name was really Marilyn Monroe Doherty. Her first husband was a police officer, Doherty.
okay.
Slatzer, that marriage only lasted 10 days, DiMaggio Miller. And Robert Slatzer wrote me a letter in November of 1988, which I had copied. And he described how he went to Marilyn's residence in Brentwood. She treated him as a confidant. And he described these love letters, which later wound up somewhere. We're still looking for them, and it's a $100,000 reward for them. So I thought I would just read this one paragraph of the letter with your permission,
Okay, just
if it doesn't take too long.
okay, just quickly, Mr. Hayes, so we can.
These are the letters that we want to pay $100,000 for anybody watching who knows, can give us any information as to where they are.
Okay, that's a lot of money.
One day in the summer of 1962, I believe it was in July, when Bobby had severed all communications with Marilyn, did she show them to me. She had told me about them, and to save face from my chiding her about having them, she produced them from the file cabinet. I fanned them out and noticed they covered post dates, a period of about 9 or 10 months. I opened 3 or 4 and they ranged from 1 to 3 pages each. They were rather saccharine, much like those a high school male might write to his girlfriend. He told how much he loved her and how he couldn't wait to see her again. He recalled how comfortable he felt in her arms, and in one letter wrote a phrase, not to give up on becoming the First Lady. And then she took the letters, which she said were her insurance policy. They were tied with a shoelace, and she put them back in her cabinet.
Wow.
And she died shortly thereafter. And I feel that it was the blackmail threat that forced John F. Kennedy to order the CIA to retain the Mafia to do away with her. And in the last 2 years, at places like the National Arts Club, we've had a seance on August 13th about Marilyn, and the psychics did conclude that it was high flanking political people who done her in, so to speak.
Okay.
That it was, they blamed it on the they reached her and blamed it on the Kennedys.
Okay, well, that's very informative, Mr. Hayes, and Mr. Hayes is with the bar in New York and Washington, right?
Yes, and I'm also chairman of the legal committee of Beaux-Arts Inc., the not-for-profit sponsor corporation for the Beaux-Arts Ball.
Okay, so a very authoritative source on this matter. I guess, Mr. Tracy, did you meet Marilyn Monroe at all in your travels?
Casually, years ago, before she was the big Marilyn Monroe, when my friend Sam Chapman, who was Seal Chapman's husband, who furnished clothes to Marilyn and to Joan Crawford and some of the others. But this is long before she came into the theater field.
Right, and very interesting, this conspiracy idea,
Yeah.
I guess.
As a matter of fact, I was made the king of the Beaux-Arts Ball. You remember?
That was in 1978 at the 7th Russian Armory.
Oh, so you
And
guys
who
know
was
it.
the queen?
I don't recall, but it was some star.
It was. I can't think of her name. She never quite made it. She married a very wealthy man, and of course, with money, you get a lot of places.
Oh, well, you guys don't even need me. You can do the whole show yourselves, I think. Now,
Oh yes, we're old friends.
well, we want to bring out our last guest before we talk a little more, and this is a very special performance that we're quite taken with. Please welcome Trayman. And Trayman, you're using your tray and your scarves tonight,
That's right.
right?
I'm doing a dance in honor of Bastille Day.
Bastille Day, okay.
Right. And the reason I'm using a burgundy tray is because there's a region in France called Burgundy, and that's why I'm using a burgundy scarf. And also in honor of Burgundy wine, of course, which comes from France also.
Okay, well, now, that's some of your, this is part of the trade dance?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, and you do this without music,
Yes, I
right,
do.
Trayman?
Either with or without music,
Okay.
anyway.
Now, all right, now, Trayman, maybe you can bring some of your trays and share those with us over at at the seat there.
Right.
Okay. While we're waiting for that, now, Mr. Jones, you have done. You're a very well-known bodybuilder in the magazines, and could you say how many you've been in, or has it been too many to?
Well, I've been in several magazines. I've been in Muscle and Fitness, Muscle Development. I've been in Flex magazine several times. There's been articles on me called Rising Star. I'm very, very known as far as my posing abilities because I'm a very good poser. I studied a little tap dancing as a young kid, and people like me because of my attitude towards the sport and helping people too, and then with my sport with the Ice Bear Kingdom.
Okay.
So people are, really, they always look forward to seeing me at shows, competing, and, etc.
Okay. And now, I guess while we were getting ready here, Mr. Trayman, you brought some of your trays, and you were gonna show us. Now, how many trays do you have?
Well, with me I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 6 trays. At home, I have about 7 more trays.
Okay. And how many scarves do you have?
With me, I have about 4 scarves.
Okay. And then at home?
I have about 3 more.
Okay. And now could you show us maybe one that you had a special tray from the Flip Wilson days,
Yeah.
right? That one there? and maybe you can show that to the camera.
Sure.
The devil.
Want to get up and demonstrate it?
Okay. Just quickly though, so we can. The devil made me do it. That's what Flip Wilson used to say, right? Okay. All right. Well, very, very nice, Mr. Trayman. Now we do have to wrap things up, I think. So maybe we should just talk what everybody's going to be up to. Now, Mr. Tracy, we know you're going to be in those two movies coming up, right?
Yeah.
Meryl Streep and the Barbara Streisand.
And they're coming in from London, sending a crew to interview me.
Okay.
To be shown in England.
Wow, that's going to
They
be.
just showed my the film that I did with Lily Palmer back in 1938.
Wow.
They showed it in England about 3-4 weeks ago, at the same time that it was shown here.
Wow.
And I got an awful lot of mail and telephone calls on that.
Well, I can't wait to see those new movies. And Mr. Maurer, you're going to be. We'll see you at the conventions.
Yeah, in case there are any fellow Star Trek fans watching, they might be interested to know William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy are going to be at the Nassau Coliseum on Saturday.
Oh, that's
They're
right.
going to see that.
That'll be a big
Part
show.
of their 25th anniversary tour around the country, yeah.
Right. And David, we know you're not going to be doing anything interesting. And now, Rabbi Abraham, anything up ahead for your group?
Yes, we are getting involved with TV shows, commercials from international sponsors.
Right.
And also Kenneth Jones, he's getting involved in a Mr. America contest as far as his body is concerned.
October 2nd in Tampa Beach, Florida.
Great. All right. So everyone cheer him on at home. We know you can do it. And anything else?
Well, prior to that, I'm just, like you said, getting ready for that show, and I'm also getting in shape. I'm doing a few modeling. I'm doing a few magazines, maybe for Macy's pretty soon.
Oh.
Some modeling,
Great.
some clothes.
Okay. And Mr. Hayes, very quickly, you'll have your seance again for Marilyn?
No, we're not having our seance this August 13th, the night of the full moon.
Oh.
Not this year. But I'm appearing on television and radio in connection with her murder.
Okay. And
I'm looking forward to reading a new book called Crypt 33 by Milo Sparigli of the Nick Harris Detective Agency in New York, in Hollywood.
okay, we'll keep an eye out. And Mr. Trayman, you're always welcome here at Beyond Vaudeville. And we'll have to have you come back and do some of your poetry next time.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for watching Beyond Vaudeville. Don't forget to tune in next week.